It's time to take a ride on the MCD.
Funko Pop. Hey guys, do you want to go to Lambert's? Big Ben. I'm married to the Huntress. J Money. Just pop the mic money. It's time for the MCD. Ladies and guys and ladies. MCD. Alrighty, what's up, guys? Welcome into the Modern Christian Dudes podcast. We're a little bit of a mess here today. We're going live, Greg Walden, on Facebook. Righty. We're live on YouTube. We're live on my Facebook channel. We're live on our local churches. Nice. Facebook feed. We're live on YouTube right now. So we're live in multiple places. We're the Modern Christian Dudes talking news, sports, and God. So we probably don't have it all dialed in, but we're trying to get back to, because that's all the rage right now. Okay, is not just, you can't just be a podcaster. You have to have a video podcast.
Yeah, everybody wants to see your mug.
So anyway, there we go. We're Dudes talking news, sports, and God. It's been a few weeks. We've been, as always, I torture myself and love to be extremely busy in life. So our church is in the middle of a little bit of a remodel project once again, as I'm always renovating. And that's what Jesus does, right? He's always renovating.
Yep.
He's always changing the lives of people, things. So I don't know. Anyway, we're doing that. So we're trying to get back into the groove of the Modern Christian Dudes podcast. So we thank you, all of our friends, family, people that watch. And if you don't watch us live on the video, you can do that. Or anyway, we're getting it out to multiple places. It's already, if you just search Modern Christian Dudes, you can find it anywhere online. So there you go. How you doing, Funko Pro Greg Walden?
Oh, doing pretty good. Do you
have an epic rant for us to start off the show today?
Oh, I don't really have any rants today.
Okay, this could potentially be the dumbest question I've ever said or thing that I process here as I trying to work with my microphone. There we go. Because Greg Walden, I want a Mountain Dew right now, but you're a tea guy right over there, right?
Yep, got it.
You have the big tea right in front of you. This is a little bit of teaology I want to enter into, the study of tea, okay? So I hardly ever get tea, but the other day, where was that? I was grabbing some lunch real quick, and I had a soda, and then I refilled it up on the way out. I'm like, I'm going to get some sweet tea today, because that's what you do. Even in southern Missouri, you're getting in the South, you become a tea drinker a little bit.
Yep.
So I get the tea, but why is it? I can't figure this out. Why does tea not ever get really cold?
That's a mystery. It's like
Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
Right. You can fill up your whole glass with ice.
Yeah.
Put the Coke, whatever, Diet Coke, whatever you might be regular, and it gets cold instantly, right?
Yeah.
You do the same thing with tea. I filled it up, lots of ice, and even an hour or two later, it wasn't super cold.
I wonder if tea is a natural antifreeze or something.
Yeah, that's true though, right? It's not just me, right? Is it?
Yeah. I put tea in the fridge at work, especially when I go to office, and I put tea in there, and by lunch it'll be cold, but it don't take long for it to get warm again.
Yeah, and then anyway, I know you could freeze it. Obviously, it's going to freeze at some point, but there you go. That's my rant the other day. I was just sitting there drinking tea, and I'm thinking about Greg Walden because I'm like, why isn't this tea getting super cold? And then by the time it was super cold, it's mostly water.
Yeah.
Come on, give us a message. Help me out with this, guys. Why does tea never get super cold?
You should only get tea in a bottle.
All right.
Well, I don't like tea in a fountain.
We're in the middle. Is this technically summertime right now? Was this technically
not
summer?
Officially until June 21st.
June 21st is
or
summer.
June 20th, something like that.
But I'm having a good start. I've been to the lake 3 times. I've got out the inflatable paddle boards. If you guys have ever been on those, my family loves inflatable paddle boards. I still yet to have to get on the bike, but I have gotten in the water, I love it.
Nice.
I'm a lake guy. Are you a lake guy?
Not really. I'm not much of a swimmer.
Okay. I love to swim. Love the paddle board, love all of it. So I don't know if you have lakes in your area where you're checking it out, and the water has been pretty good so far. I like cold water, but anyway, I'm gonna have a great summer.
It's been pretty warm lately. It'd be a good day to go take a dip.
Yes, absolutely. It's starting to heat up here, Southwest Missouri. That's the one thing I hate the blistering humidity when we get into that.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's not going to be like last year where where once it hit June, it stopped raining for 3 months.
Yeah, that was not good.
I hope it doesn't repeat what it did last year.
So my boys, I was driving the school bus the other day, And I get back, and there's no AC in those things, the big ones.
Oh,
and
man.
I'm so hot, And what I have boys, 9-year-old boys. So what do they do the moment I want to walk in the door? They want to go outside and play. I'm like, dude, I'm torched, guy. This is not happening. So I was like, this is the only thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go outside and play. I'm gonna put my swimsuit on, and you just stand there. You just hose me down.
Yeah.
And they thought it was great. So I just stood there and they just were blasting me with the water hose, thinking it's hilarious. And I was actually refreshed and enjoyed it very, very much.
Hey,
So.
best of both worlds. It's a win-win there.
All right. So let's kick it off there. You got some stories for us, Greg Walden, Funko Pro Greg Walden?
Well, I got a nice...
Outside of Joe Biden falling down.
Well, they just took my story. No. Anyways, here's my first one. This is something like an office prank.
Okay.
You go into your office, whatever, with your coworkers, and you switch the N and the M keys on the keyboards. And then later on, some may call you a monster, but others will say you're a nomster.
Okay. So someone did this or no?
No, it's a bad dad joke, but
okay. All right.
but no, you switch the M and N key. I'll say someone call you a nomster because they so used to the M and N being mixed up.
Yeah. Best prank? Are you a prank person? Do you play pranks on people?
We don't, not too many times, but I do remember this one guy. It was about back in the mid 2000s. I was working up at the Command General Staff College up in Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, and had this guy.
If you listen, Greg Walden is a veteran. Thank you,
Yeah.
Greg
Oh,
Walden.
thank you.
Coming off Memorial Day.
Oh, thank you. So this guy, he's a real wonderful brother God. He was an associate pastor at his church up there up in Kansas, where he went to church at. But he's we got along real well. We good friends. We talked about God a lot at work and stuff. But we played jokes. He'd leave his computer logged on. He just walk off, go to the bathroom or something, leave his computer. He didn't log off his computer. He just left it. Anybody can get on it.
This could be bad.
So yeah. So one day he goes off and leaves his computer unlocked. So we took a picture of his desktop, and then we hid his icons and made that picture of his desktop his actual wallpaper on his desktop.
Okay.
And so then he gets back and he's like, my icons ain't working. I'm clicking on them and there's nothing happening.
Okay. Yeah.
And you're like, oh, maybe you should call the help desk.
Yeah. It comes to mind. There's a guy named, I'll give him a shout out. I'm sure he doesn't listen to the show. A guy named Larry Reed. He was senior executive associate pastor when I was a worship pastor in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. But he was older, not technologically savvy, if you will. So the younger guys, there's 2 youth pastors, myself, we'd like to play pranks on him. I remember one time we sent him, at the time you could send a text message to someone and they would open it up. If they open up and it would say deleting contacts. Have the scrolling bar that is deleting all of your contacts on your phone. So we were at like a serious, like kind of pastorally meeting for the district or something like that. And he's over there and we're sitting there and we send him the text, and he opens it up and it's like scrolling, deleting contacts and everything. And you can see him, he's like, oh man. And his wife name was Karen. Is like, oh, Karen, what's happening? So anyway, we thought that was great. And then I didn't partake in this one. I wish I would have, but basically it was when Barack Obama and who was he going against his first term when Barack Obama came?
John McCain.
McCain, yeah, I think it was Barack Obama, John McCain. Basically, because that church I was a part of, and yes, as we openly confess, we're kind of right wing Christians, if you will. So basically, we're I'm not an Obama fan. You're probably not either.
Nope.
But anyway, so they took a bunch of Obama signs, all the campaign signs are up, and in the middle of the night, they went and took a bunch of, I guess stealing. They stole a bunch of Obama signs from other places, yards, etc., and then just put like 100 of Obama signs in the associate pastor's yard. So when he woke up the next morning and walked out, his yard is littered with Obama signs.
Now, have you ever had one backfire on you? That's the question. Have you ever had one backfire?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. The one that I had backfire is there was one at the time called sticky noting a car. So basically you would just go and take sticky notes and just plaster someone's car with sticky notes. Same associate pastor. We did this prank too. Okay. So we, in the middle of the night, late at night, we go to his house. We sticky note his entire car. And he's the type of pastor, he's going to come in the office next day and be all mad and like start raging on everyone, like, who did this to my... So we go to staff meeting that week and we're waiting for the moment, right? We're like, Pastor Larry's going to go postal on everyone and we're going to laugh and it's going to be a great time, So nothing, no anger, no fits of rage. We're like, man. And all of a sudden it hit me. I'm like, wait, did we go to the right house?
Uh-oh.
So come to find out, we went to the wrong house.
Oh, boy.
He noted the wrong car. So imagine that dude. He's raging at the office the next day. He's going postal on all his coworkers. Like, who did this? And all his coworkers are like,
what are you talking about?
We didn't do it, I promise. Yes, you did.
I'll tell you, the funniest one ever backfired on me. Me and we had a coworker. He's kind of a nervous guy. Real nice guy, but he's like a really nervous dude. Like really nervous. And so we basically made a conference call because he had his own classroom and I was in a classroom next to him. And we put all the VoIP phones in his room on conference with our mine phone as the master. And so he'd be sitting there and we'd just pick like random beeps. And I'm like, beep. And then you could hear him walking, what's going on here? And he'd sit back at his desk, beep. You're like, what's good? I mean, we just had him going crazy. Then he come in the office, like, man, there's some weird beeping noise going on in class. I'm like, I don't know what it is, man. So you go back there, beep. And so we went on it, and it's like, I told Ben, like, we should go tell him, we was messing with him. But he had already left for the day. Uh-huh. I was like, so we'll just call him on his phone. So we called him on his phone to let him know we were just messing with him. So he's like, phone dials, he picks up, hey, this is John. Oh, hold on, I'm getting pulled over. I got pulled over being on the phone after we called him. I'm like, oh, great. Now he's going to get it. I said, Then Ben's like, is he going to get a ticket? I'm like, knowing John, yes, he's going to get a ticket because he's
maybe I think I've kind of grown out of the pranks a little bit. You know, the last prank, not a big prank. Like the other day, my wife's scared of bugs. So I was underneath a shelving unit in our garage. We're all cleaning out together as a family. And then I just started acting like I was being attacked by spiders. And she goes screaming out of the garage. And that was pretty funny. But getting less and less of her. I'm on Instagram. I don't like the mean pranks. Do you know what I mean? Saying that are like pranks that are kind of funny, but then there's these pranks that are just rude and like invade people's space. And
I'm not
disrespectful.
The clean pranks where it doesn't hurt nobody. Just But again,
what's that old school show? Candid Camera, like it's kind of cute, funny. Those are good pranks. So there you go. All right, guys, we are Dudes Talking News Sports God. We are in the sports season. We're in NBA Finals. We haven't really talked NBA Finals or NBA basketball on Modern Christian Dudes for quite a while. It was looking good for my LA Lakers there, and they got pounced in the Western Conference Finals by the Denver Nuggets. And it is now game two. Game two just completed last night in the NBA Finals. It is currently 1-1. Denver Nuggets versus the Miami Heat. No one probably expected this NBA Finals.
Oh man,
probably not going to be the highest rated finals.
Well, remember the Celtics almost, Celtics almost pulled one, but then they lost that last game. But.
Yeah, many people were hoping Lakers Celtics because the Lakers made it to the Western Conference Finals. Celtics made it to the Western Conference Finals, and they have a storied history as both those franchises have gone back and forth throughout the decades in the NBA. Which I just subscribed. I don't know why I did this. Oh, I know why I did this. I did this because I wanted to watch the NBA Finals, but I subscribed to, there's a package 40% off right now, Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus. I had to get that so that I could watch the NBA Finals games.
Yeah.
And anyway, on ESPN Plus, there's a 30 for 30. They do these 30 for 30 documentaries, ESPN, and they have one called Celtics Lakers Best of Enemies, and it's actually pretty good if you're looking for a good documentary there. So I don't know. I think it's probably going to be the Denver Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets have never won an NBA championship. So I do like the Miami Heat. I do like the Miami Heat. Pat Riley, president. Eric Spoelstra, head coach. I like the organization. I like the team. So this is a year where I will be happy with whoever wins either one.
Good.
So other sports news, which we haven't talked about, I'll get your hot take on this one real quick, is that, guess what? Patrick Mahomes. Well, I just married them together, and I had a Joe Biden moment all at the same time. Oh, my goodness. I can't imagine.
Wait for the comments.
Joe Biden, we're making fun of you. I can't imagine what I'm going to be like when I'm 80 years old, stumbling, bumbling, falling over all over the place. Tom Brady is now part owner of the Oakland Raiders. How about that?
Oh, wow. No one who expected that.
So anyway, the big talk is, though, Jimmy Garoppolo, they just signed Jimmy G in the offseason. Now Jimmy G is hurt.
Oh.
Desperately needing a quarterback to step in for the Oakland Raiders. Will Tom Brady come back once again?
Yeah, I heard that this week where he was like, no, I'm not coming back to football.
Yeah.
And then you see the image of specter of Brett Favre behind him.
I think he needs to shut it down. You know what I'm saying? It's like, listen, times and seasons in life, y'all. Okay, we have times and seasons, and then we move on from them, and we never return. I think this is kind of the moment for
he had his
Tom Brady.
He had his run.
Dude, he got divorced. Just recently. Family's kind of messed up. Let's put football aside. Let's focus on
families
what really matters in life.
Family is more important than football. I mean, you got to take care of your family, man.
Yeah. So I think those are kind of interesting things that are happening in the NFL right now. NFL's a little dormant right now. NBA is going to be wrapping up, and then we truly do move into kind of the dead season of sports.
Well, Patrick Mahomes, he's playing baseball. He actually threw a no sight strike out pitch or somebody. He basically, how he does that, no look throws. Well, he did a no look throw and actually got somebody out. And he also hit a home run too.
Maybe he'll play for the Savannah Bananas. Sure, becoming quite popular nowadays. Yeah. Anyway, what else stories you got over there, Funko Pro Greg Walden?
All right, here's one for you guys. This is weird, and this is probably
weird story.
Yeah, this is how we're not in the right business. Like why am I working my butt off when I can just do some dumb art and make a lot of money?
Okay.
South Korean student eats $120,000 banana artwork because he was hungry. And so basically all this art piece was a banana duct taped to a wall.
Good segue from the Savannah Bananas.
Yeah.
Okay. A banana stuck to the wall.
Yeah, just a banana duct taped to the wall. That's all it is. $120,000. I'm like, man, I could go down to Cash King and get a whole bunch of bananas to be a millionaire. I could just duct tape it to a piece of canvas and then you make yourself $100,000. But anyways, he ate it for he guess he didn't have breakfast. He saw the banana there, like and he ate it. Which man. I guess the museum's not really doing anything because they said they replace a banana every 3 days anyway because it goes rotten.
Okay,
so,
is this a true story though?
Yeah, it's a true story.
Wow.
Yep.
Art is so subjective. I've never been into that kind of art. Pro wrestling is an art, various, but like art painting is always very fascinating to me. Because you see some of these pictures where like an artist literally just splashes.
Yeah,
paint on canvases, and they're like, "What? This is amazing art."
I did that art when I was in kindergarten.
Yeah. I don't get into the art really from that standpoint. I do appreciate like drawing, those kind of things.
Yeah, some skilled, but just somebody
some of those
throwing
abstract, art things are
some just I don't know. I guess somebody likes it. I guess somebody likes it, but I like something that makes sense.
Right. It's all subjective. All facets, areas of life, I guess, if you will. So, all right. Any other stories over there, Funko Pro Greg Walden?
Nope.
Hot takes. I have, like I said, I always waver between my canceling and resubscribing to various streaming platforms. I am currently subscribed to two. I got to cancel Netflix because I subscribed to Netflix to watch the Power Rangers 30-year episode, which was pretty solid, I think, overall. I don't remember if we reviewed that. Revolves a lot around the blue Power Ranger. Who was on there? The pink Power Ranger didn't make it on there. The original Red Ranger wasn't on there. So anyway, but it was pretty solid. And then I was always like, because I'm trying to find stuff when I'm working out, if I'm working out inside, something to watch while I'm spinning, etc., whatever it might be. So I got caught up in this one called The 100. Have you ever heard of that one? It's sci-fi, apocalyptic.
I've never heard of it.
Type 1. But here's the thing about, I don't know if you noticed or not, and this is what I believe. Give me your comments, give me your input, reaction if you're watching, listening, or later on, is that like all these good episodes, what's interesting about like when you find a good TV show, have you ever noticed like the best seasons are like 1, 2, if they're, let's say it's like 6, 7, or 8 seasons, usually the best seasons are like 1, 2, and 3. And then after that, they're just making content to make content.
Right. And, they've already hit up, you already hit up all the main typos, arcs that you could hit up. And just like making filler after that.
Because like the 100, basically what this is like the world was destroyed by nuclear bombs. Now they're on a spaceship.
Yeah.
But the spaceship is not designed to go for more than 100 years. So they're like, what are we going to do? Like the Earth is not livable. This ship is soon to be not livable. So then they send down 100 criminals that are in jail. Uh-huh. They send them back down to the Earth to see if it's livable. Well, they get down there. It's breathable. They're able to live. But then they discover there's other people down there. And then they battle with them, and then they find out there's people in a bunker, and then they battle, and then they figure out that AI destroyed the world, and then eventually, like into season 3, like then they destroy the whole Earth planet. Then they go into cryo. Then they come out of cryo. Then they go back to this other planet. Then they get to that planet, and then they realize there's other people on that planet.
So it's basically repeating the same thing.
It's just repeating the same storyline,
Yeah.
and then it's kind of goofy. So I'm a firm believer in that. I was a big like Lost is one of my all time favorite episodes. I think they kind of did that as well. You know, like they just rehash. So.
Yeah.
I say like 3 to 4 seasons is the sweet spot for majority of shows.
Yep. It's really hard for a series to remain successful after that. I mean, a lot of them are only like 1 or 2 seasons. Like Gilligan's Island is only like 2 or 3 seasons. And
that's true. Yeah. And I wonder how they, as a writer, like, because like for example on the 100, did they really at the beginning did they really think it out 7 seasons?
Probably not.
I'm not convinced that they did.
No,
it's like,
I mean, they create a pilot,
tie it all together, and blah, blah,
I mean, they have a general story, but then they create the pilot, and they say, okay, we like the pilot. We order a season. They complete a season, and then sometimes they may have envisioned it maybe 1 or 2 seasons, but then all of a sudden the network it becomes really super popular.
Yeah.
Then oh crap, we got to come up with more seasons, and then they have to really run to make some stories.
What's your favorite all-time show, guys? What's your favorite all-time show?
First TV series?
TV series, yeah.
Oh, goodness. There's a bunch
I love Lost. I was big into Lost. You remember that one?
My favorite one is actually, I'm old school. I like, my favorite is Little House on the Prairie.
Okay. Well, that's old school.
That's old school.
What about those good old days of, I'm kind of a 90s kid. Family Matters, Steve Urkel.
Yeah, Family. I've watched some
Full
of the
House.
episodes. I didn't like Full House. I thought it was kind of annoying.
Yeah. It's interesting when you scroll back in the day to those.
But Little House on the Prairie, I like that. That's a good family, wholesome show. And it lasted, 10 seasons? I think 10 or 11 seasons somewhere.
Walker, Texas Ranger. No.
Yeah, now that's my next. That's so I want to get out.
We were joking about that last night. That doesn't hold up well, though. I don't think like when you watch it today, you're kind of like, wow, this is kind of corny.
I mean, it's got the 80s cheese. I mean, 80s was a cheesy.
Was it
decade.
80s? I thought it was 90s.
Or was it in 80s? I thought.
I don't know.
Well, who knows? But it still has some cheese in it. Obviously that you had that period of time where you had a lot of cheese. I mean, just I look back on some of even some of the cartoons I used to watch.
1993.
Okay.
Show aired on CBS in spring of 1993, with the first season consisting of 3 pilot episodes. 8 full seasons followed. So
I would watch it though.
93 to 2001.
Yeah,
wow.
I would watch it because Chuck Norris.
Seems like kind of a long time, but not that long time ago. 2001. I mean, it's 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I guess it feels older.
But still, you still got that. It still has that. I mean, it's Chuck Norris. I mean, yeah, he's one of my favorite actors. So I mean, I would watch it. But yeah, like Matlock and
well, there's a lot. Yeah. I guess 90s is kind of my teen years. I'm looking at Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was in the 90s. There's some good ones.
Yeah, Fresh Prince. I liked Fresh Prince. Who was your favorite Fresh Prince character?
Oh, Will Smith, definitely for sure.
I'd be honest with you, I like Jeffrey.
Jeffrey was
the butler. He's kind of like
the butler. Yeah,
he always had that wit. He always had that witty remark every time the dad would say something, and he's like,
"Oh, Saved by the Bell." Yeah, see, Saved by the Bell. I've mentioned that one before. That was in my sweet spot, 89 to 93. That was definitely my sweet spot. The Nanny, my wife loved that one. King of Queens is on this list here of top ones. Ellen, that back in the day. Full House, I did mention that one. Third Rock from the Sun, never got into that one. Home Improvement, there you go. That was a big one. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, we already mentioned that one.
Like the Dukes of Hazzard, the A-Team.
Yeah, that's 80s there.
Yeah, that's when I grew up. That's when I grew up.
That's true. We're a decade apart. So you're 80s, I'm 90s. Yeah. There you go. All right, spiritual talk. We'll wrap it up with some spiritual talk. What do you got cooking up? What's God doing in your life over there, Greg Walden, when it comes to old spiritual life, spiritual talk?
Oh, I got done with that one book. I'm writing another book. I'm doing some Christian fiction right now. Just got done publishing a book a month or so ago. Then I'm a third away doing another Christian fiction, and it's called Legacy of the Father. It's basically, it deals with basically fathers and how being part of the family. And this, I don't want to ruin the plot too much, but it's kind of like the father who's always gone doing job stuff, working stuff. He's gone working, and so his family's kind of is kind of, so his family's getting kind of thrown off whack. But it's kind of like one of those things where he doesn't want to be gone all the time, but because this financial situation, economics, where he's at, I mean, so his work takes a lot of his time away. But so it's kind of a conflict, and a conflict of raising children in the public school system, as it's current day. So obviously, you see what's going on in our public schools now. But so he's dealing with that, and so there's conflicts he has to, and eventually he'll have to make some decisions to adjust to be a better father for his children,
right,
for his family.
Right. I've been really hyped up. I mean, I guess I should put a scripture verse so this doesn't sound so opinionated, but I've been preaching a lot from the book of Joshua in our local church.
Yeah, that's a great book.
Joshua 6, 7, 8. Did I preach on 9? I was whatever. 7 and 8 on Sunday, 1 in the morning, 1 in the evening. But again, I was really contemplating a lot on how God was always so concerned about one thing was when they first go after Jericho, then they go to attack Ai. And I joked, AI's been around since the Old Testament. Oh my goodness, we thought it was 2023. AI was coming to attack. No, we realized it's Old Testament. But anyway, I was talking about when they went to attack Ai, they were defeated. And then one of the reasons, or the primary reason, because Achan took some of the devoted things. So number one, things that should have been devoted to the Lord, obviously. But then secondly, some of those devoted things were like demonic things, or things that they welcomed into the people of God. And so I'm really, I guess I'm getting more political in my old age or things like that. But when it comes to transgender, some of these lifestyles, some of these ungodly things, I'm getting concerned, more and more for our culture that it's time to take our stand as the people of God, specifically in the life of the church, and say, hey, these things are not of God. They're not of the Lord. These things are not something that that should have influence or even be accepted in our life, So I'm grateful, with a lot of this transgender stuff. I'm grateful for people rebelling against Target, Bud Light, although I don't drink alcohol or any of those kind of things. But I do appreciate that it seems like culture is kind of standing up and saying, like, we don't want this garbage.
Right. I mean, and there's probably a long discussion itself. But I've done a lot of thinking about, I've been on Facebook. You see people like, oh, Democrats or all the Republicans. I said, think about it. And I mean, this is probably going to be way off whack. But if you think about it, and there's a reason why all this stuff's going on. I mean, politically, there's a reason why it's going on. I mean, but there's spiritually, but obviously we know who's behind it. Spiritually, I mean, obviously the devil's behind all this stuff that's going on. I mean, his handiwork's all in it. I mean, if he steals, kills, and destroys. I mean, that's what the Bible says. The devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy. You see those three trademarks in what's going on in society. So that tells you the devil's hand's in it. But if we think about all this stuff we see all this stuff going on in culture, but it's not new. I mean, these evils existed since, Adam and Eve time. So what's changed in America in the last 200 years? What's changed? I mean, there's always been politicians that want to get. There's always been self-serving politicians. There's always been evil. I mean, it's always existed. Yeah. But what's changed in this country in the last 200-something years?
Less truth, less of following God's truth, less God.
Well, America's turned her back on God. I mean, that's what happened. America's turned her back on God in the last longer we've been alive. Yeah. I mean, they took the Bible out of the Bible and prayer out of school in the 1960s. People are not. If you go back and look up a test back in 1903, you'll see a lot of Bible questions on tests in public schools. Yeah. I mean, there are tests that I don't think any of us could pass. That were 8th grade questions that I don't think any of us could pass right now, because the country's turned their back on God. But what is the ultimate? I mean, the ultimate obviously falls on believers in the church, because we have. And where the Holy Spirit resides in us, and one of the jobs of the Holy Spirit is a restrainer. If the believers in the church ain't speaking out against the evil, there's no restraint. And then it can go. Then it can basically spread like a cancer. Yep. So that's what's changed. I mean, I'm not trying to be. I'm not trying to say anti-church, but I'm trying to be the truth. I've been thinking about this for months. It's like we got to speak up against the evil. Yep. And say, this is not acceptable. This, LGBT lifestyle is not acceptable. It's an abomination of God. Call it for what it is. Yeah. Almost, and then say, but say that the solution to the problem in our country isn't electing Donald Trump, isn't electing Joe Biden. It's getting this country back to Jesus and back to God. Yeah. That is the solution.
I was listening to a YouTube video on the way here. It was the dude from Skillet, the lead singer.
Yeah, John Cooper.
He's hardcore, dude.
Yeah.
That guy's like speaking out big time. And I love again, this is a longer discussion that we could have a series on, if you will. But he was really talking about, the issue of standing for truth and righteousness in God's way versus being loving. So what he's kind of arguing is like, his daughter's going to school where he said this true story where like his daughter has someone in the university that identifies as a cat.
Yeah.
And so like she has to, refer to him as a cat because that's what he identifies at. And basically he's like, hey, we don't believe in this. We don't stand, this is not, but then all of a sudden, if you take that stand, you're unloving. And he's like, and we as Christians, we've kind of backed away and we've let sin just step in and dominate all for the sake of like, well, we don't want to be unloving. So, there's that fine line that is, it's a tough line to toe where it's like, we want to be loving, the love of Christ, but we can't, we can't be so loving to welcome the things that are not of God, demonic things, unholy things, begin to just fill our lives and be acceptable.
Well, you could take that debate down like, okay, what's loving? You say you got say your children about 9 years old now.
Yep.
Say your stove's on and Hezekiah's getting ready to go put his hand on top of the hot stove. Are you going to say, well, Hezekiah, please, it's not, you're going to say, get your hand away from the stove.
Yeah.
But, was that not loving? You're loving because you don't want him to hurt himself.
Yeah.
He's getting ready to hurt his hand, and you might be more direct in your voice, but that motivation is because you love your son and you don't want to see him get hurt. So when you tell a sinner, hey, stop, you're on your way to hell, that's not being unloving. You're loving that person because you don't want to see them go to that bad place called hell. And you're saying there's the better way, Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Now, obviously, we're not, like one of the most misused verse in the Bible by sinners is the judge. It's Matthew 7. Was it Matthew 7:1? Don't judge lest you be judged.
Yeah.
More sinners know that verse than Christians know John 3:16. Because I guarantee you go up and tell anybody about Jesus, a lot of sinners will throw that right at your face, and they don't know what the word judging is. It's like I've even heard from because that's like judging is judging is like if I'm telling you if I'm saying you need to live up to my standards, that's judging. Because I'm comparing your righteousness versus mine, which I'm not righteous. I mean, none of us are. But if you're telling the truth of God, who God is the judge, who they will stand before one day, you're telling. So God is the judge. So you're not judging them. You're telling the truth of God's word, and God's word is truth. Whether you want to like it or not, whether you believe it or not, it doesn't matter.
Yep.
I mean, you don't get a choice on what truth is. God says this is the way. Walk thee in it.
Yep. And
so you're loving that person because you know where they're headed if they reject Jesus Christ and they leave this world. And then this where the sense of urgency has to come in because you see young people getting killed. Like you see the news like somebody got killed in a car wreck, or you don't know, you might be the last person to talk to that sinner before they go to eternity.
Yep.
And if you just like, I don't want to sound loving, I won't tell them about Jesus, and then they go eternity in hell, you just lost that opportunity. They may have, they may have responded to you if you told them about Jesus. They may have responded, and you could have, and they could have accepted Jesus and went to heaven. But because you didn't, you held back. So I think it's more loving to tell somebody the truth than it is to like, well, I don't want to hurt their feelings.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. So very interesting topic. We could dive deeper into that, but just that aspect of, come on, church, it's time to rise up in the truth of God's word and proclaim it with authority, power, confidence, all those kind of things. I hadn't mentioned this on the podcast, but if there's a couple podcasts I got into the last few weeks, Jordan Peterson, if you've ever heard of him, go check him out, man. He's got some great stuff on some of these topics. And then Matt Walsh, who does documentaries and stuff like that. That dude's got some great stuff.
And going back to your sermon about AI, and that's a very important sermon. I mean, there's a lot of stuff you can take off that sermon. And and this is for believers, is like I even like last week. I mean, because I'm a huge Zelda fan. I mean,
Yeah.
For the longest time, you thought Zelda was a clean game. It's just, adventure game.
My son was talking about Zelda stuff the other day. I'm like, where did you get this knowledge and insight? You've been hanging around Greg Walden.
But they had the new, of course, they had Breath of the Wild come out, back in 2017. And then a few weeks ago, they had the new sequel to it, the Tears of the Kingdom. And so I was playing that because like, well, Zelda's safe. I mean, I didn't think there was anything bad about playing Zelda. Well, I was playing that Zelda game, and there was like, you go to this one area down a tower, and you hear this sound like it was a creepy dude.
Yeah.
And you broke a wall, and there was a demon statue, and it asked the guy to pray to it. I'm like, threw it in trash.
Wow.
Threw it in trash. And I was so disgusted.
Yeah.
Like, this crap got into the Zelda games. Like, I can't even play it now.
Yeah.
Like,
that's the deal, right? They're just little by little. Slide it in.
Yeah, it's that influence,
Creep in.
that satanic influence, which is prevalent in our society. It's like you think your favorite this or TV series, you think your favorite video game series is immune to it. No, it's not.
Yeah.
And so that's like, some people are like, well, that's just a video game. No, it's like this is not right. Throw it in trash because you don't want. It's like if you even crack the door open for the devil, you might as well just throw the door wide open. The same thing.
Yeah.
So you got to be really, sensitive to that stuff and not give him an inch.
All right, guys. Modern Christian Dudes talking news, sports, and God. We're back at it for the summertime. A little more consistency will be coming from us, as well as we're on the video there. You can see myself, Uncle Pro Greg Walden, Big Ben. He's not with us. He's wherever. But we'll talk to you guys later. All right.
Have a good, guys.